me share some scripture with you today because a lot of questions are being asked concerning the spiritual tide of the church today. And there's people that's on this side that there's a falling away, and there's people on this side that there's an outpouring of the Spirit of God. Let me just deal with that from the scripture today. In the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse number 3, he said, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." Yes, the scripture does predict and prophesy about a falling away. That's not numerically. We've got larger churches now across the world than we've ever had before. But what it is a spiritual falling away. Now, at the same time, the scripture says that there is and will be a falling away. In Acts chapter 2 and verse number 17, he makes this statement. This is the outpouring of the Spirit of God on the day of Pentecost. And he said, "It shall come to pass in the last days, saith God, that I will pour out of my Spirit upon all flesh. Your sons and daughters shall prophesy, young men see visions, old men dream dreams. On my servant, on my handmaiden, where I pour out in those days of my Spirit, and they shall prophesy." There's two scriptures going on here. One is talking about a falling away. The other's talking about an outpouring of the Spirit of God. And that's not a contradiction in the scripture. What it is a choice. You and I have a choice. We can either sit down, talk about what church used to be like, or we can get in today and say, "God, your promises are real. Your Spirit is the same yesterday, today, and forever. You don't change. You are the same yesterday, today, and forever." Or we can sit down and talk just about a falling away. But I think there's a special scripture in the book of Revelation that will sum this up for us. Revelation chapter 3. Now, if you know the book of Revelation, you understand what I'm about ready to read to you. A portion, Revelation 3 and verse number 20, is the last church that John writes to, the church of the Laodicean. There's 7 of them: Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamos, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicean. The Laodicean is the last church that Paul addresses, and this is chapter 3 and verse 20. Now watch this. He said, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and sup with him and he with me." This is the only time in the scripture you find Christ standing outside the church. Keep in mind, this is the church of Laodicean that he's talking about there in chapter 3. Christ is standing outside the church, knocking on the door. But he makes a statement. He said, "If you'll open the door, I will come in and sup with you and you with me." Here's what he's saying. Christ standing on the outside represents a falling away. Falling away is those that shut the door on Christ and will not let him in. But he said, "If you'll open the door, I will come in. I will come in and eat with you. We'll have a meal together," is what he said. So this scripture sums it up. Yes, there's a falling away taking place. But at the same time, there's an outpouring of the Spirit of God. We have a choice. I don't know about you, but I've made my mind up what choice I'm going to make. I want the outpouring of the Spirit of God, the fullness of His riches and His blessings. So I encourage you today, seek after the things of God. Don't get tied up on just the falling away. There is an outpouring of the Spirit of God. Let's be part of it.